on my face. Marina Mabrey, bat out of hell, chucks Caitlin Clark to the ground.
We gotta talk about what just happened. That game was straight up madness. 1 second, we're bored out of our minds. Next thing you know, Caitlin gets hit in the face, shoved to the floor, and the refs act like they didn't see a thing. No ejections. Nothing. Something feels off. Caitlin Clark got poked in the eye, shoved to the ground, and the refs didn't do anything. No one got suspended. And somehow, the game just kept going like nothing happened. But here's the crazy part. After all that, the WNBA started trending. Views went up. Tickets started selling like crazy. Everyone's talking about it. So now I'm starting to think, maybe this wasn't just bad refereeing. Maybe Cathy Engelbert, the WNBA commissioner, let this happen on purpose. Maybe she knew the drama would get people watching. It sounds wild, I know. But when you look at everything that's happened, it kind of makes sense. Let's break it all down because this game was more than just basketball. Something bigger is going on.
Mind you, J.C. Sheldon has been hitting Caitlin in the face all game, fouling all game. The refs don't care. The refs act like their whistles are broke. She's fouling her nonstop again, hits her in the face, and watch this.
I mean, is that displacement? I think it is.
J.C. Sheldon, who's been known to get physical, was guarding Caitlin Clark full court, smothering her really. Not just playing defense, but stalking her like it was a grudge match. And it kind of was. Remember, these two go way back to their college days. Ohio State versus Iowa. And Caitlin, she's 12-0 against Sheldon. Undefeated. So you already know JC came into this game with something to prove. Then comes the swipe. A hard reach right to Caitlin's eyeball. Not the ball, not the wrist, her eye. Clark flinches back in pain, then gives JC a shove just to create space. And honestly, who wouldn't? But instead of letting things calm down, the play spirals into madness. This wasn't some random accident. You could feel the energy shift. The crowd reacted. The players started chirping. And it was clear we weren't just watching basketball anymore. We were watching a rivalry explode. Should that have been a flagrant foul? 100%. But the refs didn't call it that. And from there, everything started to unravel. Why is an eye contact like that treated more seriously in this league? As if the eye poke wasn't already bad enough, Marina Mabrey saw Caitlin shove JC and decided she wanted smoke too. She comes sprinting across the court and just flat out shoves Caitlin to the floor, like, launches her. It wasn't a basketball play. It was a, I'm mad and I'm about to make a scene kind of play. It was shocking. Not because of how violent it was, but because everyone watching expected an immediate ejection. Seriously, NBA-level players get ejected for way less than that. But nope. The refs spent 15 minutes at the monitor, 15 minutes, and all they handed out was a technical foul to Marina. That's it. What are we doing here? You shove a player to the ground off ball, and that's only a tech? Come on. This moment sparked outrage from everyone. Broadcasters were baffled. Fans were lighting up social media. Even players on the bench were visibly confused. If Marina doesn't get ejected for that, then what does it take to get tossed in the WNBA? What message does that send? That it's open season on Caitlin Clark? Because that's what it felt like.
Not even exaggerating, you guys, like 15 minutes. 15 minutes they are watching this play over and over. They are seeing who pushed who. What did Tina Charles do? What did Marina Mabrey do? What did J.C. Sheldon do? And mind you, the reporters at the time, the announcers here are saying, of course, Marina Mabrey is going to get ejected because that was unwarranted. She literally came out of nowhere and chucked Caitlin Clark. There should be a flagrant one, of course, on J.C. Sheldon because she swiped her and hit her in the eyeball. Whether it is intentional or not, you can still have a flagrant call foul.
Let's talk about the referees, because this part, it's embarrassing. After all the chaos, Caitlin getting poked, shoved, teammates yelling, benches stirred up, the refs finally go to the monitor. And they take their sweet time. 15 whole minutes. We were all thinking the same thing. Somebody's getting ejected. It had to be Marina. Maybe JC too. You don't look at a play for 15 minutes just to say, yep, play on.
This is what they called, you guys. This is what they called. Caitlin Clark, Marina Mabrey, Tina Charles were assessed with technical fouls on Tuesday. Caitlin, Marina, and Tina Charles. Technical fouls. That's it. Technical fouls. That's it. And JC Sheldon was assessed with a flagrant 1 foul, and no players were ejected. Now, you guys, I was on live and you could just see the shock in my face. Like, I don't even know. I need to go back and watch my reaction. I was losing it. And you guys were in chat like, what is going on? What is happening? How was that the call? After 15 minutes of deliberating, that's what you call? 3 texts and a flagrant 1? That's it?
But guess what? All they called was 3 technicals on Caitlin, Marina, and Tina Charles, and a flagrant 1 on JC Sheldon. That's it. Nobody ejected. You've got analysts on the broadcast scratching their heads asking, what does a player have to do to get tossed in this league? It's a joke. Fans were stunned. Even the players looked confused when the refs made the call. And here's the thing, it wasn't just a bad judgment call. It was a failure to control the game. The moment those refs let that go without ejections, they lost the locker room. They lost the crowd. Do you think if it had been Aja Wilson or Brianna Stewart who got shoved, they'd have called it the same? There's a reason JC Sheldon and Caitlin Clark keep bumping heads. It's history. In college, JC and Ohio State could never get past Caitlin's Iowa squad, and you could see that frustration boiling over in this game. JC was face guarding Caitlin the whole night, picking her up 94 feet, bodying her on every screen, grabbing at her arms, getting in her space. It wasn't just aggressive defense. It felt like payback. The refs, they let it all go. And the longer it went uncalled, the more aggressive JC got. Add that to Marina's cheap shot, and suddenly the Indiana Fever felt like they were in a street fight, not a basketball game. And you know what happens when refs don't do their jobs? The players take it into their own hands. That's exactly what we were watching, years of rivalry, disrespect, and bad blood all bubbling up. It begs the question, should these refs be given game histories? Should they know which matchups might explode so they can stay ahead of it? Because this one, you could see it coming from the opening tip. This wasn't just one bad call, it was an entire game of missed calls. All night long, you saw players getting hacked, body checks on the perimeter, hands grabbing jerseys, off-ball hits, and yes, even hair pulls. Actual hair pulls, and nothing was called. It wasn't just Caitlin. Kelsey Mitchell was getting bodied. Lexi Hull couldn't move without someone bumping her. Even on basic dribbles, defenders were hand-checking like it was 1995. And the refs? Crickets. At this point, it's bigger than one game. The officiating in the WNBA has been bad all season, and the players know it. That's why the game blew up, because the refs weren't stopping it. That's why Sophie Cunningham did what she did. So let me ask, how many dirty plays do we need to see before the league steps in? Why isn't there more accountability for these refs? This is the best women's basketball league in the world. It deserves better officiating. The players deserve protection. And this is where the game hits its boiling point. Late in the fourth quarter, JC Sheldon's on a fast break. Sophie Cunningham's right there with her. And then boom, Sophie wraps her up with a hard foul, brings her to the floor. Was it clean? Not really. Was it intentional? Absolutely. But was it dangerous? I don't think so. Sophie didn't slam her. She didn't hit her midair. She just grabbed her and brought her down. It was controlled. It was strong. But it wasn't meant to injure. It was meant to send a message.
On this, she bear hugged her, took her to the ground. Yes, it was intentional. It was absolutely intentional. It was, to me, payback for what was happening the entire game. But she did it in a way that she wasn't going to injure JC. She was just making it known, like, if the refs aren't going to handle it, I will handle it.
And the message was loud and clear. You're not going to bully Caitlin Clark on our floor. JC popped up ready to swing. The benches cleared. Security got involved. Fans started chanting Sophie's name like she was the people's champ. And honestly, she kind of was. So here's the real debate. Was Sophie wrong, or was she doing what the refs refused to do? Sometimes when the officials lose control, the players have no choice but to take matters into their own hands. After the game, Coach Stephanie White didn't hold back. And honestly, she shouldn't have. When a reporter asked Caitlin about her tech, Coach White stepped in and said, "I'll take that." And then she went off. She said it's been happening all season, that the league is getting more physical, the players are getting better, the teams are improving, but the officiating isn't. And because of that, games are getting out of control. She said the refs knew this game would be chippy, that she warned them in the first quarter, and they still didn't get ahead of it. And she's 100% right. You can't let things build for 4 quarters and then act surprised when players snap. This game didn't blow up out of nowhere. The signs were there. The refs just ignored them. Coaches shouldn't have to protect their players like this. That's the official's job. But Stephanie White stepped up, and she said what every coach in the league has probably been thinking. Was she out of line? Or was she just the only one brave enough to speak the truth? Let's be real, this game went viral for all the wrong reasons. Clips of Caitlin getting shoved were all over ESPN. NBA players were tweeting about it. WNBA fans were livid. And casual fans who had never watched a Fever game were suddenly talking about Sophie Cunningham like she was Ron Artest. But is that really how the league wants to get attention? We've got generational talent on the court. Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, Aja Wilson. Yet somehow, the WNBA is trending because of chaos, not skill. Don't get me wrong, fans love the drama. But this ain't the kind of exposure that builds a league. This is the kind that tears it down if leadership doesn't step in. So what now? Will Cathy Engelbert do anything? Will there be suspensions, fines, referee accountability? Because if nothing happens, it sends a clear message to every player out there. Play dirty, and you'll get away with it. Is that really the brand the WNBA wants? Is Cathy Engelbert behind all this chaos? Okay, hear me out. What if this wasn't just bad officiating? What if this wasn't just an out-of-control game? What if Cathy Engelbert wanted this to happen? Yeah, I said it. Think about it. Ever since Caitlin Clark entered the WNBA, ticket sales have exploded. Ratings are up, headlines are everywhere. But now, we're talking about viral chaos. Brawls, fights, players getting shoved, games turning into WWE matches, and fans can't stop watching. And here's the kicker. Not a single referee got suspended. Marina Mabrey shoved Caitlin Clark to the floor, no ejection. Refs spent 15 minutes reviewing the play and still couldn't get it right. No consequences, no accountability. You're telling me the league didn't want this drama? Come on, Cathy Engelbert is no dummy. She knows controversy equals clicks equals cash. And let's be real, Caitlin Clark getting bullied, Sophie Cunningham turning into a bodyguard, fans going wild, that's free marketing. So now I gotta ask you, is Cathy just letting it slide? Or is she secretly pulling the strings behind the scenes to make the WNBA must-watch TV? Coincidence or calculated? So here we are. Caitlin Clark got poked in the eye, shoved to the floor, and only got a technical. Sophie Cunningham stepped in to defend her. The game turned into a brawl. The refs lost control, and the coach had to go to the mic to defend her players. This isn't just about one game. It's about the future of the WNBA. The league is growing. It's on TV. People are watching. But if stars like Caitlin aren't protected, what happens when they get seriously hurt? What happens when a fan favorite like Sophie gets suspended for doing what the refs wouldn't? This isn't entertainment, it's a warning. The WNBA needs to get its house in order before something bigger goes wrong. So I'm asking you, what should happen next? Should Marina Mabrey be suspended? Should the refs face consequences? Should the league apologize to Clark and Fever fans? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Like the video if you agree. And if you want to see real change in the WNBA, keep speaking up. Because one thing's for sure, this league can't ignore it any longer.